Hello, friends, and welcome to Let's All Feel Better. I'm Callista.
And I'm Liz.
So this podcast is dedicated to how we use the power of story.
Yeah.
And how to use it to create what you want and to, kind of summon your power.
Stand in your power.
Stand in your power.
Yeah.
So today's podcast is going to be a bit of an introduction, and since Liz is going to share her story with us.
Yeah, power story.
And how she got started on this particular journey. Yeah. So Liz.
Hi, Callista. Welcome to Let's All Feel Better.
Welcome. So you learned how to stand in your own power, and by, as often happens, by somebody taking it away from you.
Yeah.
So you want to share that story with us?
Yeah.
And we're going to start with where you were working and basic situation prior to that.
Well, sure.
Catalyst.
So I've been an actor for over 30 years, and I was on a show called Guiding Light. For all of you who may not know that.
There used to be a soap opera.
There used
on
to be a
television.
soap opera, and it was so good too. And I had been watching it since I was in 1979.
It was my mom's soap opera, her only soap opera.
Ross and Vanessa. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So anyway, I ended up going on the show and being cast on the show, which was my dream come true, 1992. I was on the show for 17 years until it went off the air. I played the character of Blake, which was a dream come true. The bad girl with a heart of gold and opportunity to be every aspect of myself that I was not allowed to be in my real life. She was just so funny and sexy and unapologetically Blake, and said what she thought and with no remorse, and caused a lot of havoc, and was such a joy to play her. And I had an opportunity to a wonderful co-star with Jerry Bedorn for at least 12 of those years. It was A Marriage Made in Heaven on television, and I really had everything. I mean, I had the opportunity to marry my real love, in real life, my body, and 2 kids. While I was pregnant, the first pregnancy they hid behind bags and sofas, and the second one they rode in. I was home at night to have dinner. My husband built us this beautiful house in the country, and life, I really had everything, hit the jackpot. And really my biggest fear was, oh God, I hope nothing ever happens to the show, right? So, 12 years under a beautiful contract. There's a ding. 12 years, wonderful income. I'm with my family. I figure I'm here for life. And change of circumstance. It was mid 2000s, and leading up to the financial crisis, and Procter & Gamble started tightening their belts, and I was the first of several, but the first of a veteran contract player to be taken off contract. So what does that mean?
Yeah, I was going to say, can you explain what off contract means?
Yeah, well, contract means you're guaranteed. We're gonna work you 3 days a week minimum, with so much money per day, and your agent negotiates that, and you have all the perks. You have a beautiful dressing room, scripts are sent to your house, and you just...
So even as an actor, you have job security. Which is unheard of.
And I'm 12 years into this thinking, good. And then suddenly I get the call, well, they're taking you off contract. And my world kind of imploded. But what it meant was they still wanted to write for me. They still wanted me on the show. So I was not fired. I was...
And not your other fear that the show would be canceled.
Right. This
wasn't
was
that
not. I had not been rehearsing for this particular tragedy. I had been rehearsing for the other. And so I went into this land of uncertainty and oh God, okay, let me just hold on to whatever it is that they can give me. So my response was to endure. Be a good soldier, endure, be a good girl, follow the rules. Maybe they'll see that they were wrong. And, it was all still this, they still had all the power to use me or not use me. And I said yes to everything because thinking I had no other choice. And at the time, young kids and
better than being unemployed.
Right, and so fear. I was making fear-based decisions, and which affected fear-based actions, and so what naturally happened was I became smaller and smaller inside while I was pretending that I was okay. Like I can do this, and it was almost like I'll wait it out until they see that they were wrong. There's a little story that I was going on in my head. So anyway,
They'll come back around.
So I'm the good soldier, and I'm doing this, and I'm showing up whenever they ask me to. But it's like, when you had that boyfriend that wouldn't commit to you. I know what this is. They didn't want to commit, but they wanted you around whenever they were in town. So it's like, I don't want you to really be my girl. I definitely don't want to marry you. And I'm not even going to say you're my girlfriend, but you're my date when I'm in town. So,
or drunk late at night.
Yeah, and it makes you feel not valued and very small. So I did that for a while, and here's what happened. We were in a small studio that was independent of CBS for the longest time, right by Grand Central Station in New York City. And they moved us. Right after this change of status happened, they moved us from this independent studio, which I think eventually went to Rachel Ray. It became a cooking show after us. But we moved to CBS. As the Little Terms left CBS Studios and went to Brooklyn, and we moved into the As the Little Terms set of stages. And when that happened,
which was also another
all those PNG shows were just the best. So that was our sister show. Anyway, so when we moved into this new studio, suddenly we were all assigned, we all had to go in and get in dressing rooms. And whereas before, I had my regular dressing room, and it just continued to be so until we left. But now that we're in a new studio, I'm no longer under contract, which means I'm no longer allowed my own dressing room. That's one of the perks of being on contract. So I'm literally asked to show up every day and use someone else's dressing room that happens not to be there that day.
Not in a place of your own.
So, and not only that, but what I have to use, I'm a wandering gypsy. I use whoever is not there that day. So it's sort of like you're living in your house, and then suddenly your parents say, you don't have your own room, but you can use your brother's room. when he's gone on a sleepover, you can use that. Anyway, but I'm not allowed to have the code that unlocks the door because it's not technically my dressing room. So literally, I'm wandering the halls.
Insult to injury, just stop her.
Right, so like I leave to use the bathroom, and I have to go get a wardrobe assistant to bring me and let me back into the room for the day. And then that or put a shoe in the door. So I was like, come on, guys. But it became a prison. I mean, I literally was walking down the halls like, well, how did this happen to me? Because I'm watching these kids, who now they could get 2 kids for the price of me, right? So they're getting these teenagers and putting them under contract. They're getting these dressing rooms, and they're showing up and going to sleep as soon as they get there. They have a 7 a.m. call, and they go back to bed, and they're in their dressing room, and I'm this veteran person that's just ready to do.
Escorted through the hallways.
Yeah, so that's when I hit bottom. I actually could handle everything until the dressing room, and then I remember getting to the point where I would drive across the street and be driving to the parking lot across the street from CVS, and I would just be in tears, and I'd be like, I can't do it, I can't show up, and it's just humiliating. And people, also, it became that mirror what I was feeling inside was how people were responding to me. So the smaller and smaller I felt, the smaller and smaller people saw me as and treated me as, I became a little diseased. Maybe this is contagion. And it just became this horrible place to work. What used to be my big family, right? Very joyful, and playtime became really a prison, and like, how did this happen, and how did I become this person? So I got to the point where I remember one day I actually just got angry. I just got so angry I couldn't take it anymore, and I said, I don't care any longer. And this is where anger actually showed up and was my hero, because anger is actually here to, when someone's taken your power, like you've actually given it away, but it feels as if somebody's come in and ripped it from you. It's here to claim, to bring it back. Anger is actually, when used in balance and in a way, when used properly, when you actually use the directions. No, it really is. It's here to help you. So it fueled me to go, well, screw this. I'll shut up. I'm done. I've been a good soldier. I'm not doing this anymore. And then I kind of did my little, what would it be if I actually, I'll get my own film. I'll have my own dressing room. I'll show them. I'll just send them pictures day and night. I'll just shove them underneath the producer's door. Here you go. I have my own dressing room. And as an actor, we create realities. We step into, who would I be if I were this? This is what we do as an actor. And I started responding like, this isn't the old Liz. I was starting to feel strong and fiery again, and like what would Blake do if we're in this? She wouldn't stand for this. And I decided that I was going to feel better. And I decided that I would use the story that I created in my head. So here's the story. I decided, who would I be if I had this film that really was waiting for me a year from now? So I have this whole year to play. A year from now, and it's directed by Ron Howard, because I love Ron Howard, and I did Happy Days when I was 18 years old. So
makes sense.
It's somewhere in my being and consciousness. We actually, it could happen, right?
Sure.
And
that's what makes it believable, in your own mind.
So my mind responded to, my body started responding to this. And it was a period piece, because I do period pieces very well. And Ron Howard knew he had to have me, but he said, no, it's a secret, so you can't tell anybody about it. This is like under wraps, but we're putting you under contract now. So this is waiting for you. So just go have fun this year, and don't change your hair, don't do anything, but just go have fun and play. And we'll see you, offer you wardrobe fitting next summer. And like my whole body started responding to that with goosebumps, going, why not? Why the hell not? Why not just go into the studio as if this were happening? And it's an actor's secret, as we're both actors. It's a tool to use a secret that helps you ground into your truth and your humanity, and it helps you play different layers, and it's just a fun thing to do. So I made a conscious decision every single day that I would walk in as if I had this film waiting for me. And I got into character in my car across the street every single morning, and then I would be like, yeah, I can walk through those hallways. Here's my badge. Here you go, guys. Off contract, here I am. I'm here. And what dressing room do you have for me today? Oh, I'm gonna make it a good one. I mean, it changed everything. It changed how I felt inside, how I responded. So, of course, the mirror effect went the opposite direction. It's like that lovely merry-go-round, right? Those old-fashioned merry-go-rounds, which are no longer legal. It's like I stopped it spinning in that negative spiral. I'm so small, and they don't love me, and I'm too old, and obviously should just quit,
Crawl away.
Crawl. Which is so not me. genius of what I've come to do. And I stopped it and it just like neutralize it, just catch yourself. You know, that's what the anger did, it stopped it. And then I just like, let's move it in the other direction. So that's what I did. And so I learned so much because I didn't say a word, but I just changed the story that I was responding to. And then what happened was eventually it all started coming back my way. And I did advocate for a dressing room. I told the producers, I can't do this. This is unacceptable. But I didn't come from a place of being a victim. I came from a place of, I'm gonna create a solution for myself. How can you help me? And they did. They totally like stepped up and said, you know what, we're gonna create a dressing room for you, but you're gonna share it with 2 other people. I'm like, fabulous, because they were just these amazing women, and we had the goddess dressing room, that's what we called it, and it was great. And so here's what happened. The next set of circumstances that happened that rocked my world was the show actually did get canceled, okay? But by the time it actually got canceled, I had come back around where now I did have a dressing room and a place to be, and I was back into big storylines. In fact, I found out later from one of the writers that, you know, there were certain people that actually come down and asked to have me in their storyline, which my heart was like, oh, really? It was like Sally Field
wanted
moment.
To be around that
They liked
energy.
me. Right. Yeah. Right. And not only that, but they were in the works to actually hire other actors to be in my storyline, and as opposed to me just being like the little supporting player that was gonna. We'll figure out a way to plug Blake.
Is that Blake at the other table over there? Hi.
I know. So here's what I learned. By the time the show actually was canceled, which was before my biggest fear, I grieved like a human being, which of course, because you know, that show had taught me so much, and I loved it. I grew up on that show, but I wasn't wrecked. My identity wasn't shattered because the show was no longer the source of my story and, you know, of my power, my personal power. I actually realized I was, because just with my thoughts and how I responded to my thoughts and making the decision to have those thoughts, like I decided to walk through those hallways being happy, being that joyfulness. And how was I going to go about doing that? I'm going to use this little acting tool. Why not? Use it as an actor and get paid for it all the time. Why not use it for my real life? I mean, I didn't tell anybody about it at the time because they were all going to think I'm crazy. But it's like it worked.
Yeah.
And that's what led me to learning about all of these laws of the universe, which ultimately turns into, oh wait, that's the law of attraction. I was literally brought it in by feeling it first. Who would I be if that happened? And giving the value to myself. I valued myself. Instead of looking for them to value me, I just said, I'm going to value myself.
And it just as a way to make yourself be able to walk through those doors every day. You know,
it was a survival tool.
Yeah,
really.
But you know, look what happens.
It turned out being
the universe taps you on the shoulder.
Yeah, it led to this whole coaching, mentoring, wanting to help people stand in their power and listen to the stories you're telling yourself. That's when I realized, oh, this is so valuable. Here I've been a storyteller my whole life, telling other people's stories, but I've never listened to what I was telling myself, my story. So,
and that you can create your own story. You know, that you can,
well,
the different stories that you tell yourself.
Yeah.
You know.
First you have to catch them.
Yeah.
You have to see what is it you're telling yourself, recognize it, catch it, and then go, I don't want that. What do I want? And then this is where, you know, the coaching comes in, and where I help people with various tools and strategies of really turning that merry-go-round the opposite direction. But I never realized how powerful it could be. And I never said a word. That's the thing that got me. I just did it with my thoughts. Yeah.
You weren't going telling lies to people. I have this great thing.
No,
You just needed that. As you say, the actor technique of having a secret. Your character has a secret.
Well, you know what's interesting? It also helped to heal something, because I used to think like something was seriously wrong with me because I was so good at going in and out of realities. As an actor, I could be all these different people, and so easily, because I would just go, okay, this person feels this is their set of values, this is, I would just naturally, who would I be if I were in that scenario? Oh, well, I'd be thinking this, and so therefore that would affect how I would feel and how it would affect how I'd act, and oh, now it makes sense why I take those actions. Okay, got it. And I thought I was a little crazy, because I could be these bad girls so easily, and good girls like in a heartbeat, but so who was I? And that's when I realized, well, I'm the person who's orchestrating all the stories. I'm the person who's like saying to me,
this is your story.
This is the story. Now believe the story and go hit your marks and get a paycheck.
Yeah, so you just do it with your own life.
Yeah, so it made me feel better that I wasn't crazy. All I was doing was responding to thoughts. And my body was so good at it, I could just compartmentalize it and focus and be this person. And it's just a tool.
And again, perhaps the universe tapping you on your shoulder all the way back then. Like, this is a way to get in. This is a way to get there.
Yeah. So now it's so heavy with me to be able to share this story and without people thinking I'm crazy.
Which is excellent. She's not.
No, it made me it just realized how sane I was.
Yeah.
How actually healthy it was. But I have to do things in a creative way. They have to be fun. I mean, Ron Howard has to be involved in my story. Come on, guys.
And details.
Details. Oh, yeah. I didn't have an accent because at the time I didn't want to be doing any accents. But I kept changing from it was in the 20s and then it was the 30s. I was like a flapper type of thing because I had that hair. I thought, yeah.
It works. It all works.
Yeah. Prohibition.
Thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Liz.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening.
And thank you all for sharing your time with us. And we'll be coming back to you with more stories, sharing more stories about how to find your power, how to stand in your own power like that.
Well, I think this particular story has a lot in it to unpack.
Yeah.
I'm going to take, what I'd like to do in future episodes is to take parts of that and to go, this is what actually was happening.
Oh, sure, there's all
and
sorts
how you can apply it to your life.
Victim.
Oh, yeah. Because I kept going in and out of victim, victimhood, or seeing myself through that lens and responding in that way. And then I moved to, wait a second, I'm going to be the creator. I'm going to find solutions. And who would I be at that? And it's amazing.
And wouldn't it be nice? There's all sorts of fun things.
Well, the wouldn't it be nice is a very big exercise I use all the time. So we're going to have some fun.
Yeah, we will. So thank you for sharing your time with us, and thank you for sharing your story with us, and we hope it resonates.
Yeah, thank you, because let's all feel better.
Let's all feel better.
As always, you can find us at letsallfeelbetter.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Let's All Feel Better.
And watch us on our YouTube channel. You guessed it, Let's All Feel Better.